Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome back to the vlog and welcome to episode 2 of the Nico Lunamore Show with your host, the one, the only, me, Nico Lunamore! I'm back, y'all. Did you miss me? Probably not, because I've uploaded 5 videos already this week, and you know what? You're getting a 6th. You're getting a 6th. Clap for that. Let's clap for that. Okay, yes, I'm back. And I am back home. So yeah, cool for the summer. I'm here for the summer. And that's my little update. So yeah, this is going to be a update on my life. The things I've done, the books I've read in the past 3 months, how my goals from last quarter went, and my goals for this upcoming quarter. So yeah, stay tuned if you're interested. But this month, this quarter, this time, this episode, I am going to start by talking about the 3 books I read in the past 3 months. Yeah, so this year I made a goal for myself to read 12 books, 1 book every month this year. And so far, so good. I mean, there was kind of a struggle, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I made it through it. We're 6 months through the year, and I have read 6 books. Okay, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for sitting through those first few minutes of my head being chopped off. Hopefully this angle is better. I think it is. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to talk about the 3 books that I read in the past 3 months. Okay, so the first book that I read, which I don't have with me, unfortunately, was Gateway by Frederik Pohl. And of the 3 books that I read in the past 3 months, this one was my favorite to read. Maybe not my favorite book of the 3, but my favorite to read, like the most enjoyable reading process. And also this is going to be including spoilers because it's hard for me to talk about it without like just explaining what happens. So, spoiler alert, this book is about this person. It's a sci-fi fantasy book or something. It's in the future, and the world is different. And this main character wins the lottery and then buys himself a ticket to this like space station where he can go and look for ancient alien relics, which can then get him more money. And so basically the story takes place in 2 different times, when he's out in space and then when he's back in space dealing with like the consequences of his actions and seeing a robot therapist. And I actually found, so basically the way that the book was structured is like every other chapter was going back and forth. So one chapter would be telling the story, and then the next chapter would be him talking with the psychotherapist machine, which was named Siegfried. And I actually really enjoyed the portions of the book that dealt with like the therapy. And I liked the story too, but I didn't like the main character. He's kind of the worst ever. And he's not very likable, but the story was entertaining. It was easy for me to read. It was very engaging, the book. So yeah, I'm going to share some of the quotes that I wrote down. Yeah, also, by the way, if you don't care, if you are succumbing to the literary crisis, literacy crisis, oh god, apparently me too. If you don't care, you can skip to like the next part, which is me talking about the things I did in the past 3 months. Otherwise, stay tuned for my thoughts on these books. On page 17, he says, "I would have found myself falling right down into that pain, and it would have destroyed me, or cured me. Perhaps they are the same thing." You know, and sometimes they are the same thing. You have to destroy yourself, or let yourself be destroyed by life, to be able to build yourself back up and cure yourself from whatever was ailing you. And I thought that was interesting. Okay. Bear with me. as I try to find the next quote. I think the problem was I had started this book and then I stopped reading it, and then I started it again. Later, so bear with me as I find this. Okay. Okay. So I read this book in April, but apparently I started in March when I finished, I think I was reading On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Okay, yes. Okay, so here's where we started. So sorry. But you know what? I don't really care if you have the power to double tap on your screen to skip forward. And like I wanted to try to make this one not as long as the first episode, but who cares? It probably will be. It's a funny thing about fear. This is from page 100. I didn't feel it. I knew that the only reason I was staying on was that I was afraid. But I didn't feel as though I was afraid. Only reasonably prudent. When you live in constant fear, it stops feeling scary. And it starts to feel normal. Sometimes it's easier to stay afraid, I wrote. To leave it alone, hiding away in the back of your mind. If you're afraid long enough, it starts to feel like it's not there anymore. Until you're inevitably forced to face it. It'll never just go away. So how long am I willing to wait? Too long, unfortunately. Page 136. When I am angry, I forget that very large place where I hurt and go on hurting and don't know how to stop. And I wrote in response to this that anger takes focus. In this case, the main character is angry at his robot psychoanalyst. By focusing on his anger toward this machine, he doesn't have to focus on his own pain, his own shortcomings. And I wrote that I think I do the opposite. And I've written about this before in my anger, anxiety, and avoidance video, so go watch it. I run away from my anger towards others, forcing myself to feel that anger towards myself. And I can't do that anymore. And I think I'm getting better. Yeah, I would kind of let myself not be treated the way I wanted to be treated. I wouldn't express my anger or my frustrations, or it was hard for me to do so. It felt that way sometimes. Yeah. Moving on. Page 172. Something inside them will not tolerate happiness. The better it gets, the more they have to destroy it. Page 173. The first step when you have a problem is to know you have it. The second step is to make a decision. Do you want to keep the problem, or do you want to do something about it? And I'm really good at that first step, recognizing the problem. I'm not so good at making the decision to get rid of it. It's hard. Like I mentioned earlier about the anger, or honestly anything becomes comfortable when you have it for or hold on to it for so long. Even problems, even things that are negatively affecting you, it becomes easier to continue doing that than to make a change. To even if the change is going to have positive results, it can be hard. Yeah, but you can't live like that, can you? Page 186. The way to deal with these things is to bring them out in the open. This is what I think his therapist, his robot therapist says. And then he responds, "For what? To make me hurt?" And the robot says, "To let the inside hurt come out where you can deal with it." Yeah, and sometimes you have to let it out. You have to make it real. You have to separate it from yourself in order to address it. And sometimes it takes someone else, or saying it to someone else in order for it to become real. Because when you're keeping it inside, you're only seeing it from your one angle. You're only seeing it from your perspective. And so you can't see maybe the best way to attack it or get rid of it, because you're so deeply surrounded by it. When you're able to take it out and have other people see it, or even just see it differently, by making it into something rather than keeping it a figment of your imagination or whatever, I think that's how you're able to deal with it. If you take it out of the context with which you normally approach it. Yeah. Moving on. I guess that was the last quote I wrote from the book, because it's May, and May, I didn't read a book. I did not read a book in May, unfortunately. May was like sort of a transition period for me. May's when I got back here. The 13th of May is when I came back. And I was not feeling inspired to read, until my cousin lent me a book, which I do have here somewhere. Give me 1 second as I find it. Whee! It is Night Sky with Exit Wounds by Ocean Vuong. So this is the third Ocean Vuong book that I read this year. First I read The Emperor of Gladness, which was my favorite. And then I read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, which is my second favorite. And then I read this poetry collection, Night Sky with Exit Wounds, which I have to say, unfortunately, is my least favorite. However, it did make me want to read more poetry. So, yeah, that's good. But I felt like maybe I'm just not big-brained enough, or maybe I don't have enough experience reading poetry, analyzing poetry, interpreting poetry. I felt like I had no idea what the hell some of this was talking about. And I like to think that I have a pretty creative mind, and I love words and play on words and things like that, but I was kind of struggling to understand it, and that's why I think I didn't really love it so much, is because it felt like a task, and it took me a while to like get through the book. I think I started it the 20-something of May, 26th of May, and I didn't finish it till almost the end of June. So I guess I technically did start it in May, but I didn't read a book in the month of May. But I read it by the end of June, and then I read another book. But I did write down some quotes from from some of the poems. And I like poetry. I actually, like, sometimes I write poetry. But yeah, it was, I don't know. I was not, didn't enjoy it that much. But here we go. From page 13, this is a poem entitled A Little Closer to the Edge. The line reads, "Young enough to believe nothing will change them." The good old days when, you had no perception of change. I'm thinking like elementary school, because by middle school, things were changing. But, when you're young, you don't really have a concept of the future and struggles of the future. of, I mean, I didn't. I don't know, everybody's experience is different, but yeah, and I don't know that this only applies to when you're young. I think it's like also like a mindset you can get into, um, or like momentarily, you know, like having that like hope. Um, it makes me think of Malibu by Miley Cyrus. You know, it was gonna happen one way or another. I was gonna quote Miley Cyrus. Um, there's a line in the song. It's like, um, hoping that you'll stay the same and nothing will change and it'll be us just for a while. I think that love can make you feel that way, um, or make you want to feel that way, want to believe that nothing will change. And I think that's what he was talking about, like a young love. So that one I liked. Okay. He also had a title. He had a poem titled On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. And from this I have 2 lines. Tell me it was for the hunger and nothing less. For hunger is to give the body what it knows it cannot keep. And I just thought that was so cool, such an interesting way of talking about hunger. Because I think it obviously applies to like hunger, food, eating, but also the hunger, the desire for something, in a more metaphorical sense. Because usually when we have those desires, that hunger to maybe like win something or to, I don't know, get something, some sort of reward, it is fleeting. Those things are not going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. But that hunger is to give the body what it knows it cannot keep. You can't keep the high of every moment. You can savor it, but it won't last forever, and it's not meant to. Yes, okay, and then he also wrote, don't we touch each other just to prove we're still here? I was still here once. I don't know, that made me sad. Like he doesn't feel like he's there anymore. Maybe because he's no longer being touched, being made to feel alive. But I thought it was interesting. Don't we touch each other just to prove we're still here? And it's kind of selfish, but maybe it's true. And sometimes, maybe it could be true. Okay. I mentioned I wrote poetry. This book actually made me write a poem. Well, it didn't make me do anything, but it inspired me to write. And I don't know if I want to share this because it's kind of sad. But you know what? Let's read it. It's called Goodnight. I find it hard to love myself. I find it hard to breathe. I find it hard to be myself with your eyes on me. I'm only free when I'm alone, but me alone is no home. In fact, I never feel at home, not in my skin, not in my bones. I don't know who I'm supposed to be, or what that is supposed to mean. But I've gotten good at being mean to who the mirror throws at me. It's me, or is it? I never really know. Who's trapped inside this meaty soup? Meaty soup? Meaty suit. I just ate some soup. Let me restart that stanza. It's me, or is it? I never really know. Who's trapped inside this meaty suit? I hope I have a soul. Okay, that's enough. It's starting to get tough. Dwelling too much on it all makes my eyes go shut. And I think I went to bed. That's why I called it Good Night. I read and then I went to bed. Yeah, so sorry to be all sad and sappy or whatever. But that's what this book inspired me to feel. Because it was kind of sad. There was some sadness in it. But also I feel like I didn't really get the full experience of the book because I was not really understanding it very well. Okay, let me see if I have any more quotes. No, I do not. Okay. Thank you, Ocean Vuong. I'm sad that I didn't like this book as much. Maybe I just need to like come back to it later at a later date. Read it again, maybe with fresh eyes, different mindset, different circumstances, different vibes. But yeah, the next book that I read this month. Also, I want to do a time check because I feel like this is already taking so damn long. Here, let me do a time check real quick. Okay, we're about 20 minutes in. Goddamn 47. Here we go. The last book I read was Witch in Darkness by Kellyanne Maddox. So Kellyanne Maddox is one of my favorite tarot, witchcraft people. And I found her through YouTube. I love her like tea and tarot talks. That's why I started making Tuesday tea and tarot talks. Or I don't know if she calls them tea. I don't know what she calls them. Tea and tarot videos, tea and tarot talk. I don't know. Mine are inspired by her Tuesday tea and tarot talks. Go watch one of my Tuesday tea and tarot talks. I just uploaded one this week. So yeah, Witch in Darkness. So this is a book on magic for tough times, bad days, and moments of total catastrophe. And when I started this, I was like, well, I'm not really in a dark period of my life. There always is darkness, you know, in the world and in our day-to-day lives. But I felt like, you know, I'm here for the summer. I'm here to have fun, live a little before duty calls. And so I was like, I don't know if this book is going to be very, what's it called? Fitting for the vibe, but for some reason I felt like bringing it when I came home, so I did, and I ended up reading it, and darkness struck. Not really. I mean, life happens, but something did happen that I was not expecting, and it is sad. Overall. But yeah, the book actually did end up helping me a lot, I think. Not necessarily like it offers a lot of tools and things you can do, activities like to help, and I didn't do very many. Actually, my Tuesday Tea and Tarot talk came from this book. I used a spread that she puts forth to bring joy into your life. And so it was helpful to read. And I think it helped with sort of like the unexpectedness of my situation. And yeah, I'm just going to read some things that I wrote down from it, because I don't want to really get into it right now. But let's see what I wrote down. On page 4, she says, "We are not supposed to seek to fix everything." And I wrote that sometimes I feel that everything in my life is wrong, and I become overwhelmed by my inability to fix it all. But I'm not meant to fix it all, nor could I. Sometimes fixing one thing can make dealing with other things more bearable. Page 13, she writes, "The moon was never just a beautiful orb in the sky for me. It was telling me something. It was delivering something to me. And you know, I love the moon, Lunamor, like it's in the name. But I wrote, the moon in astrology is one of our guiding lights." I actually just got the moon tattooed on me. The moon in astrology is one of our... Oh, shish kebabs. I lost my page. My microphone. Like, I'm just such a disaster. Excuse me. Okay. The moon in astrology is one of our guiding lights, but both the sun and the moon act as triggers. They shed light into different areas of life and bring new things to the forefront. the moon is our monthly messenger and the sun is our yearly one. So yeah, it takes the moon 30 days to go around the zodiac. And so every day it's shedding light in a different part of your life or your experience. And obviously sometimes it's going to be more prominent than others. But yeah, I love the moon. Okay. Do I want to read this? So at the end of each chapter, she has like writing prompts. And so I did a few of them. I don't remember what the prompt is, so let me go find it, I suppose. Page 21. Also, I don't know that going forward, I think I'm going to start doing the I read a book again, instead of having to cram 3 books into one. Just because it takes so long. So I think when I finish this book that I'm reading, which I'm already most of the way through, I think I'm just going to do a video on it specifically so that these episodes can become shorter and more digestible, and easier for me to upload. Okay, but so the write it prompt that I wrote here, or that I responded to, is, what did you learn about imperfection and mistakes during your upbringing? And explain how the lessons you've learned have affected your witchcraft practices. So I wrote that I learned to hide from them, that mistakes and imperfections were not meant to be seen. I'm not sure when or who from, but it can't have been too early on. I think about this story that gets told about me when I was younger. I don't really remember it happening because I was, I think, 3 years old or something at the time. We have chairs in our dining room that have apparently at the time were freshly, what's the word? Upholstered? They put on a new cover, I guess, seat, cushion, whatever. And me, being 3 years old, I found a pen. And I found out that when you stab this newly upholstered cushion, it pops, which is super fun for a 3-year-old. So I just stabbed it. And I guess my uncle, who was babysitting me at the time, told me, when your mom finds out, like, just, like, you'll see what happens when your mom finds out. So when my mom gets home from work, my uncle was asleep. And so I walk up to my mom and I told her to, like, follow me. I tell her to come here. And I show her my masterpiece, my work of art, my chair with the pen holes in it. And I'm pointing to it and I'm smiling. So I guess at that point, I hadn't learned to hide my mistakes. I thought maybe being honest about it was the right path. And I guess it was, because I don't think I got really into much trouble because of it. But that changed. And I wrote here recently that I recently have been avoiding, because of a fear of imperfection, that I'll somehow make things worse. I wish I could read my handwriting. With my bad attitude. For example, I made a Tuesday Tea and Tarot Talk. I haven't made a Tuesday Tea and Tarot Talk in a while because I don't want to share negative or depressing vibes. But it's part of being alive. Yeah, it's part of being alive is sadness and darkness and struggles. Yeah, that's the only one I want to share from that one now. On page 32, she says, "You are always the expert on you." And that's true. I wrote hashtag so true. You know yourself. And when life or people in your life or circumstances in your life try to get you to do something or act in a way that isn't you, and you know that it's not you, You gotta listen to you, okay? Okay. I'm over it. I wrote some other things, but you know what? They're for me. So I don't need to share them right now. I'm tired of talking about these books, so let's move on. But yeah, I read 3 books this quarter, the past 3 months, and here's to reading 3 more. Now let's talk about the things I did. So in April, I didn't do much. I think I started going to a river that I found that's only about 40 minutes away from my aunt's house where I was staying. That's like my new favorite river. I love it. It's so nice. In May, I came back here and yeah, I came back here and I was hanging out with my friends again and started the garden up again. I've been babysitting for my cousin, which has been actually really amazing. She's just the cutest baby ever in the world. And yeah, seeing family, hanging out. Oh, I got new tattoos. I got 4 new tattoos. I'm obsessed. I love them. They're all astrology related because I'm obsessed. I got the moon, the sun, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn tattooed on my body. The planetary glyphs of them. In the parts of my body that correspond to where they are in the zodiac, because that's just who I am. What else have I done since being back? Honestly, not much. I really thought it was going to be more eventful, and I thought I was going to feel like more inspired and just like living it up, but no, I'm kind of tired and trying to focus on myself and things in my control. Like my fucking social media addiction, it's really bad. I have deleted Instagram and TikTok from my phone and re-downloaded them and deleted them and re-downloaded them. But they have been deleted for a while. I'm going strong. It's so hard. But it's like stupid at the same time. So yeah, I'm trying to like replace it with other things. I have been meditating. I have been doing yoga. I have been trying to eat better as well. I made a soup today that I had made before. It's like a root vegetable soup. I made it with turnip, parsnip, carrot, potato, and then I added some kale, some corn, a can of tomatoes, and then some smoked paprika, some cumin, some oregano, salt, pepper, adobo, sazon, sofrito. I added sofrito already, like with the onions and the garlic, which I didn't mention. That's like what I start everything, like basically every single thing that I make starts with either just onions and garlic or sofrito, or sometimes both. So I made my soup. My soup is really good. What else is in there, Kevin? I don't know. I feel like that's all I've been doing is just living that life. I've been trying to read more. And I'm moving very quickly through this book that I'm reading. So I think this month I will read more than 1 book. That is my goal. So let's move on to my goals. So that's one of my goals. Oh, actually, let's talk about the goals from last quarter that I had for myself. I don't remember exactly what goals I made for myself. Oh, wait, I ran every day. I ran every month, every day. Well, oh my God, I wish I could speak. I ran every single day for a month, except no, I didn't. I ran like 21 out of 30 days in April. I made a video on it, so go watch that. I made a goal for myself to continue exercising every day, and I've done pretty good, kind of. Maybe not so much. Like, once I got back here, I was trying, but I wasn't really succeeding. I tried doing Pilates. I didn't really like it all that much. So I kind of was not very consistent with it, and then I gave up. But I'm doing yoga again, and I'm doing like a intermediate course, and it's a challenge, and I really like it. Yeah. So that was one of my goals. I think it's getting better. I started off strong, and then I kind of like faltered in the middle. which seems to be a pattern because like last quarter, January was great, February was not so much great, and then March was like, eh. This month actually was like a little bit better. I think April was good. May was kind of a not my best, not that great, but June I feel like was a pretty good month. I would say June was better than March in terms of like the third month of these little cycles that I'm deeming for myself. But this, I can already tell July is going to be a great month. Like it already is so far. And my sister's coming! My sister! I'm so excited. My sister's going to be home for who knows how long. But yeah, we get to spend some time together. I'm excited for that. And what else were my goals? Oh, I had some YouTube goals. So some of my YouTube goals, I think I wanted to publish I ran a mile every day, which I did. I wanted to publish my video, a Tuesday Teen Tarot Talk. I did not do it. I filmed it, and I didn't like it. It wasn't good. I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't publish it. I wanted to publish What Do You Want with the World, my next video, my essay series, which I didn't publish in the past 3 months, but I did publish this week. So it should be up by the time you're seeing this. So check. And then I think that was it. No, there were 3. 1, 2. Oh yeah. But I published a new Tuesday Teen Tarot Talk. So I'm feeling good. My goals for this month are to continue reading, read more than one book this month, and just read as many books as I can. Like, I know that I'll reach my goal of 12, but I just want to see like how many I can do, because not like I just want to read, but like I can read a book in a week if I really just spend a good amount of time reading every single day. It's not that difficult. You just have to bring yourself to do it. So that's what I've got to do. I want to continue reading, continue with my workouts, make videos on my working out and my meditation as well, because meditating is hard, girl. I've never really been super into it, but I want to reclaim my mind and my time and my life. So we're working on it. So yeah, I want to talk about those things eventually when the time comes. And yeah, just continue to, live and feel good. I've been feeling pretty good actually recently. I was sad for a little while there, but nothing lasts forever, and life goes on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I know it was kind of long. It always is with me. Nothing is brief. But yeah, that's my little update. I'm feeling good. Happy summer. Happy July. Happy Cancer season. And yeah, stay tuned for more about me. Go check out my other videos that I've made. I've made quite a few this week. And hopefully I'll be making more in the future. Well, I will be, but stay tuned. Okay, bye.